On my way here today, I asked myself a simple question. What truly makes an evening like this special? Is it the awards? Is it an individual? Is it the celebration? And the answer that stayed with me was, it is the people. It is the journeys of the collective spirit of women who choose to grow, support, and rise together. Flow, to me, has not been just an organization. It is an evolving sisterhood, a space where ideas turn into initiatives and initiatives turn into impact. This year, we have worked with intention through our vocational training programs, AI and digital literacy workshops, mental health awareness sessions, entrepreneurship platforms, and grassroots outreach programs through Project Bloom. We reached women across different walks of life, not just to empower them in theory, but to equip them in reality. And every time a woman gains a skill, finds her confidence, and believes in herself a little more, we know the work is meaningful. At this point, I'd like to mention our past presidents and our past chairs. Your vision, strength, and your guidance and the foundation that you have laid, on which we continue to build. Leadership is not created in 1 year. It is carried forward through responsibility. Thank you for trusting us with your legacy. To our sponsors and partners, your belief in our mission gives us wings to our ideas. Support like yours transforms intentions into action. We are truly grateful for the same. To my executive committee and my team, especially my Women Achievers Awards team tonight, thank you for your sincerity and quiet commitment. Leadership may have one face, but it has many hands and many hearts behind it. This evening belongs to all of you. Thank you. Can I have a round of applause for all the team members who have worked towards this today? Today, we are honored to have with us Palki Sharma. Palki, in the world of journalism, your voice is truly refreshing, carrying remarkable maturity and a resonance that makes every message powerful and thoughtful. Thank you for being a part of this event today and helping us share the moments for these lovely ladies. To our awardees, tonight, let's celebrate your resilience. Your journeys remind us that achievements do not have to be loud. Sometimes they are patient, sometimes it's persistence, but it's always powerful. Thank you. As we move ahead, Flow will be a platform for enduring impact, because empowerment is not about occupying a position, it's about creating space for others. And when women rise together, we do not just change our own stories, we change the narrative for generations to come. Thank you.
It is a privilege to introduce a woman who doesn't just report the news, she defines the global narrative. As the managing editor of First Post, Palki Sharma has turned Vantage into a global powerhouse, commanding the attention of millions from Washington to Tokyo. With a career spanning over 23 years across CNN, IBN, Beyond, and ITV network, she has interviewed world leaders and reported from the front lines of history, from the war in Ukraine and halls of United Nations. While her professional milestones are vast, leading the editorial vision for Network 18 and reaching 700 million viewers monthly, Palki's true impact lies in the ability to make sense of the chaotic world. She has stood on the grounds during the most defining moment of our generation, from the Quad summits to the pandemic, providing a voice that is sharp as it is steady. Her excellence has earned her the AIMA Managing India Award, the Ficci World Leaders Award, and numerous AMBA and National Television Awards. Yet beyond the accolades and the prestigious stages of Harvard and Oxford, she remains a storyteller at heart, dedicated to the tracking the stories that truly impact our lives and shape our collective future. She is definitive voice of international affairs who consistently champions Indian interests and perspective on the global stage. Her work has also made a profound impact closer to heart, to home, leading to my team developing the interest in global affairs and geopolitics. It is my distinct honor as both a professional and a grateful parent to welcome a journalist whose intellectual rigor and fearless commentary continues to set the global standard of modern media. Please put your hands together for Ms. Palki Sharma.
It is my privilege to speak about the Flow Chennai Women Achievers Awards, an initiative that honors women who exemplify excellence, perseverance, and leadership. Through these prestigious awards, we celebrate women who are not just successful, but truly transformational. Women whose resilience, vision, and integrity create meaningful impact in society. For the year 2025-26, the Flow Chennai chapter invited nominations across 5 categories: Social Entrepreneur NGO, Social Entrepreneur Individual, Professional, Upcoming Entrepreneur, and Entrepreneur above 5 years. We received 98 exceptional applications. After rigorous due diligence process and careful evaluation, approximately 5 finalists per category were shortlisted and presented to our esteemed jury. Among the nominations received, a few were truly extraordinary, and the jury unanimously voted to confer the Lifetime Achievement Award upon 2 distinguished individuals. Today, we honor not only achievement, but the inspiring spirit these remarkable women embody.
She has already told you about the selection, how it is done for the awardees. We go through a very rigorous process. The panel for the jury consists of eminent people from the community and from very diverse fields. We are indeed grateful to the panel this year for readily accepting and going through these proceedings with us. I would like to introduce our distinguished panel now. Mrs. Usha Krishna. She is a physics and mathematics graduate and an IIM Ahmedabad alumni, a key promoter and founder of the Upasana group of companies. As a former president of the World Craft Council, a past Flow president, she championed craft revival and women entrepreneurship. Our next jury, Mr. Rajiv Macheri, a graduate in commerce and an alumni of Booth School of Business, Chicago, is a serial entrepreneur and an angel investor in technology startup. He co-founded iMetrics Group, one of the India's largest security, safety, and building automation companies. Currently, he is also the co-founder of Invicra and Twinit, a digital twin platform. He is also the honorary consul for Ireland in Chennai. Our third juror was Deepa Satyaram. She's a global acclaimed sustainability and wellness design leader with 20 plus years experience in advancing green tech buildings. A USGBC lead fellow and global WALL AP of the year. She serves on the Global Sustainability Advisory Board. We at Flow Chennai thank you for taking time off and being the part of this process. Thank you.
I started Arrange It All 5 years back with a simple mission of creating happy spaces for my clients. Many times we don't realize the kind of impact our spaces, our surroundings and our things have on us. That's exactly where I wanted to step in and make people realize the importance of organizing and decluttering. So the journey has not been very easy because it was such a new concept in India. It was very hard for people to invite us in their homes and go through their personal belongings. And that is exactly the time when our move happened to Chennai. When a client comes to us, we start with understanding their lifestyle, their needs, their space, their categories, everything in details. Then we start planning their space, like how, what will go where, what organizer should be used to create some systems so as to they can maintain the space after we have organized it. Then the entire procurement of those organizers happen, and then the team comes in to set up the entire house in a way that they can enjoy their space from day one. Now we are a team of 10 people having worked on 350 projects across 14 cities in India. The joy that we see on our clients' face when we have organized their spaces, wardrobes, is something else. That's exactly one emotion that each and every member of the team at Arrange It All lives for. Imagine stepping into the kitchen, which is well organized, and opening your wardrobes where you can find your things right at the time when you need it. It's some other feeling. I'm sure all of you can relate to it. 5 years down the line, I want Arrange It All to become the best organizing company with its own product line and a one-stop solution for all our clients' organizing needs. And I feel that vision is possible because of the constant support of my husband, Sumit. I would also like to thank my team who's been right there from the start and making these visions possible day after day for all my clients. Thank you so much.
This award is presented in recognition of her visionary outlook, innovative business model, and the inspiring example she sets for inspiring entrepreneurs. And lasting impact she has made in the field of hospitality and entrepreneurship. May we have a round of applause for Denise, please. now retired for the year.
Good afternoon, namaskar. Thank you for such a generous welcome. So many inspiring stories, I'm out of words. It's always good to be among women leaders, women achievers, learn from them. Very inspiring. Today, I'm going to talk about a very interesting subject, from empowerment to influence. And this is a word that we've heard being used repeatedly over the past few decades, empowerment. It appears in conference themes, it appears in corporate newsletters, in policy documents, in International Women's Day events, award ceremonies. It's everywhere. Women are being told we are empowered. And in many ways we are. More women today are educated, employed, they're leading teams, they're leading countries, they're leading companies. So yes, there is empowerment and it has made a difference. It has opened doors, it has expanded access, it has built confidence. But the question I want to ask today, or discuss rather, is what comes after? What happens after empowerment? Because empowerment by itself is capacity. It gives you a platform, it gives you a voice. And unfortunately, too often we stop at that. We celebrate access, we celebrate representation, we celebrate presence. But presence does not automatically translate into power. You can be empowered and you can still be operating within systems that were never designed for you. To change that, you need influence. Influence begins when empowered individuals can shape outcomes. When they can shape decisions, when they can shape the structures within which they operate. And this is a whole different conversation and a much harder one. And I want to say here, don't get me wrong, I'm not dismissing empowerment. I've benefited from it, I'm sure most of you have. I stand here because many, many women before me fought for access to education. They insisted on access to professions, to public platforms. And that was empowerment in its most meaningful form. Structural, collective, and hard-won. But I've also seen empowered women being present in rooms where they are not the decision makers. I've seen capable women being invited to panels, but not consulted before the strategy was decided. I've seen representation being used as evidence of progress, while policy and structures remain unchanged. And along the way, there was a realization that empowerment may let you enter the room, but influence determines what happens after. And these are not opposites, these are stages. Many of us have reached the first stage. How many of us are thinking about the second and working towards it? And it's a question that I've been personally grappling with for years, because in my career, very early on, I felt empowered. And I did in fact have a platform, I had visibility, I had a voice. But I was also part of conversations where I was expected to just listen.
where when you make a point, the room listens politely, but they move on like nothing happened, nothing was said. And it's usually very subtle. I'm sure you've been in such situations. No one is overtly malicious or dismissive. But those experiences teach you that having a seat is not enough. So I tried to change my approach. I tried to stop presenting ideas as suggestions. I started building cases with data, with clear articulation, by framing consequences. And many times I felt that I had to be 3 times more prepared than my male colleagues to be heard in that same meeting. It felt very unfair, but I did not know how else to do it. So it can be a tough journey from empowerment to influence. I think we need to work on both the tracks. We need to celebrate progress because there is progress. There is no denying it. We keep looking at the numbers. Every year it gets better. More women in senior managerial roles, more women in boardrooms, even if because of regulatory mandates. At least that's a start. More women getting capital to start their businesses, attracting investment. More women completing higher education. And these are not cosmetic gains, these are structural achievements. But like I said, representation does not automatically translate into power, and recognizing that reality is not being ungrateful. I would say it's being honest. It's being clear-sighted about where we are and what we need to do. And here I want to talk about one of the most insidious barriers to influence. I read about it somewhere. It's called the permission paradox. Women are socialized to wait. We are programmed for it. Wait to be asked. Wait to be noticed. Wait to be perfectly qualified. Wait till you're ready. And this is data I love using and giving examples of. Men, on average, apply for positions where they qualify only 60%, on only 60% of the criteria. Women wait, usually, to qualify 100%, because we have been conditioned like that. That you have to be flawless before you become visible. And I've seen this in newsrooms, brilliant women sitting with notes in editorial meetings, with arguments refined, waiting to be asked, waiting for the right moment to make their point. And while they wait, someone else speaks who is not ready, who is less prepared, who is less precise, but he spoke first. And this is from personal experience. I remember a young colleague of mine. She would often send me messages after a meeting saying, I thought of this point, but I did not want to interrupt. When this happened the 3rd time, I told her, drop this word from your dictionary, interrupt. Please interrupt. Because when women speak decisively, it's seen as interruption. When men do it, it's leadership. So here is what I want to urge you to do. Stop waiting for your turn. Stop waiting to be ready. Take it with what you've got. And I'm sure you know this already. And yet most women don't do it. They don't do it because they're caught in a double bind. If you're assertive, you're aggressive. If you're collaborative, you're weak. If you negotiate, you're difficult. If you don't negotiate, you lack ambition. So what do you do? And this is not anecdotal. This is documented across industries. The margin for behavioral error is narrower for women. And the only way to overcome this discrepancy is to show courage. I want to borrow from the title of a book that I haven't read, honestly, but it's quite famous. It says, "The courage to be disliked." Show the courage to be disliked. You cannot optimize your personality to please everyone. And I'm not saying that means abandoning empathy. That means refusing to dilute your authority, because leadership is not a popularity contest. It is a responsibility. We also often talk about the glass ceiling. Women face the glass ceiling. They can't rise beyond a point. I read a very interesting essay that said, it's not just a ceiling, it's a labyrinth. Women face barriers from all directions, and they have to maneuver that. Now researchers and experts have started talking about the broken drum. I'm sure you've also heard of it. The first step into management. Only a fraction of women get promoted to that first managerial role, and that defines your trajectory, that determines your professional path. If you miss that rung, the ladder narrows quickly. Why do women miss it? Not because they're incompetent, but because they're operating in skewed systems. Their professional journey is like a hurdle race. Systemic biases, the motherhood penalty, the caregiving responsibilities, and basically an ecosystem that constantly tests your grit. And we all know about these problems. I don't want to belabor the point and repeat what you already know, but I just want to outline this because we are empowered and yet we are stuck. So how do we change this? We start by redefining the objective. Influence, it's not a buzzword, it's not even charisma, it's not a personality trait. Influence is structural, it is the ability to impact decisions even in rooms where you're not physically present. It's not about titles or the corner office, though I'm sure we wouldn't mind that. And it starts with things like language. Language is very important. Language signals authority. And this is something that I have tried for years and not really succeeded at. Using qualifiers before your contributions. I'm not sure this helps, but let me say this. Sorry, just a quick thought. Men rarely do that. They just say it. Influence requires linguistic precision. And it may seem like a small thing, but it's not, because language shapes perception. The other thing I'm working on is owning your ideas. When someone repeats your idea without attribution, you say something like, "I'm glad that resonates," like I said earlier. No hostility, no drama, but you control the narrative. And you have to understand how power works. Because women leaders are often expected to show this moral authority. You have to be collaborative, you have to be empathetic, you have to be inclusive, which is all very important, and you should be. But moral power without strategic power will only take you so far. Who's controlling the budgets? If you want influence, you have to be able to read that map. You have to understand the levers. Only when you master a system can you change it. I also want to bust the myth of pure merit. A lot of my colleagues live with this romantic idea that I'm so good, my work will be recognized someday. I'm sorry, it does not work like that. Too many high-performing women live with this illusion. Good work needs amplifiers. You need advocates in rooms where you don't have access, for someone to stand up and say, "She did this, she has potential." And there aren't enough people doing that for women. So you build alliances, you work with people. I tried this halfway through my career because I thought I'm doing such great work, like all of my colleagues I thought too that I was God's gift to this profession, but why isn't anyone seeing it? And I realized because it was not reaching the places it should. And I started actively engaging with individuals who I fundamentally agreed with and who I thought could speak up for me. And along the way, I met editors who trusted my editorial judgment. I found colleagues who were ready to take risks with me and who amplified critical angles. It's important to have allies, both in the workplace and at home. You can't do it alone. It's okay to ask for help. And while doing this, I learned something that I was ambiguous about earlier, that men are not the enemy. Patriarchy is the enemy. There are men who are allies. There are men who are mentors. There are men who sponsor women when they see potential, when they recognize talent. If you exclude them, you weaken your cause. You have to expand the circle. You have to find mentors, but more importantly, you have to find sponsors. We need men and women in leadership positions who will stake their credibility on you and say, I support this person. Let's try her for this. So we've spoken about systems, power, sponsorship. I think it's a bit much for Sunday afternoon. So let me throw it to you. What will change for you when you leave this room? You may or may not like the speech, but no matter how good a speech is, it means very little unless it translates into behavior. So I'm going to make this practical. On Monday morning, when you open your laptop or your phone or whatever it is that you work on, emails will be waiting, meetings will be scheduled, deadlines will be set, targets will be set. There will be no announcement that says, today is the day when you move from empowerment to influence. That has to be your decision. So I'm going to offer 10 action points. You can pick 3 and work on them over the next 7 days. Number 1, sponsor one woman. Please do it. Put her name forward for a project. Recommend her for a client-facing role. Number 2, intervene in one meeting. Observe the pattern, see who speaks first, see who follows, who takes credit, who does not, and intervene, see what happens. Number 3, make one ask that you've long delayed. The promotion, the pay hike, the flexible work hours. Just make the ask. Don't over-explain yourself. Just state what you want. Number 4, challenge one biased assumption. It can be very powerful. You know, biases shrink when they come under scrutiny. Number 5, if you're leading a team, increase salary transparency. We need to fight for pay parity, and the first step to do that is transparency. If you're in a position to make that happen, please work towards it. Number 6, audit your apologies. Count how many unnecessary apologies you offer and reduce them. Number 7, credit other women in the room. If you like their idea, support it, reinforce it, and if an idea is repeated, attribute it. Number 8, say yes to one stretch opportunity. We talk about stretch goals in management, you know, what is achievable and then what will take a little more. Look at a stretch opportunity, even if you're not ready, even if you think that you may not be able to do it, just give it a shot. Come out of your comfort zone. Number 9, build one strategic relationship. It is very important, not enough women do that. Identify someone whose perspective matters, who can shape outcomes, invest in that relationship, learn from it. And number 10, put yourself forward once. Nominate yourself, don't wait for it. Choose any 3, write them down, set a deadline, and work towards it. Because I repeat, systems do not change with speeches. Systems change through sustained effort. And if men and women like you in this room don't make the start, who will? You're all empowered to do it. I dare say many of you are also influential to do it. Please do it. That is my message to you. Thank you so much for being here.
Palki ma'am, for that insightful and powerful address. I can't help myself. I have to say ma'am. I'm sure I speak for everyone in this room when I say that we are all huge admirers of your clarity, your courage, and the way you make complex global issues accessible and also compelling. I know that the audience has many questions to ask, but in the interest of time and in sticking to the schedule, we've shortlisted a few questions that I'm sure is what many of us are curious about. Should I start? So the first question, are we witnessing the end of the Western-led world order? And is India ready to not just participate, but to actually shape the future? And what role do the women of India have to play in that?
Let's start with the last question.
No.
We'll start with the women of India. We are 50% of the population. If we are not part of a solution, then it's not a solution. So the women of India have to be part of the policy and the plans that look at the future. Is India poised to take its rightful role in the world? Yes, it is. The opportunity is clear, but so are the challenges. I always say this. India is in a very good place. It has emerged as a bridging power, talking to different sides, working with all players while safeguarding its own strategic interests. India also has a big population, a young population, with the advent of AI that has changed my face in a way that I don't recognize it. So we are entering a phase which is fraught with a lot of uncertainty. And we don't have the luxury of making mistakes. So the short answer is yes, India is well positioned to make the most of this moment, but we will have to play it right every step of the way. Is the Western-led world order collapsing? It is cracking for sure. And while the other players in the global south are emerging, I think the West is under the strain of its own expectations and flawed systems. And so this is the time when the middle powers will exert themselves more forcefully. And yet it won't happen overnight, because might is still right in our world. Unfortunately, 2 months in this year, 2 presidents, 2 leaders have been removed unceremoniously. That is the reality of our world.
Thank you. Ma'am, news today competes with reels, real-time updates, and shrinking attention spans. What do you think is the best way to engage younger audiences with serious global issues in this current environment?
Make news reels. No, I do meet a lot of people who say, I watch news on Instagram and I don't know how to respond. My first instinct is to say, well, God help us. But, you know, at the end of the day, the consumer is the king. And so if they are on a particular platform, if it's a TikTok or Snapchat or Instagram, wherever, you have to find them there. And it's very important. We did a story recently on this in the UK. The Education Secretary made a statement saying that young people are not reading. And they're spending a lot of time on social media, and that is a national security threat, because they are getting trapped in algorithms without using their own mental faculties. And so we are raising a generation that is not equipped to identify misinformation and fake news, and that does not have an understanding of history. against which to assess today's events. I think that holds true for everyone. If you are raising a generation that does not understand history, that does not understand critical thinking, that cannot focus, and is only looking at reels, then you are facing bigger problems than unemployment.
Speaking of misinformation, what is one news that was not true but everybody assumed it was, that really blew your mind in this world of misinformation?
Oh, the Karachi port last year. I mean, yeah, you see a lot of those things sometimes, and you have to sit and think that, okay, forget the audience. What happened to the journalists? So it's a tragedy. And that is not to say there aren't good journalists, there are very many of them, but I think in the quest for speed, we often dilute the accuracy, and that's not great. And with the advent of AI again, it is only going to get more complicated.
Agreed. And this next question is one that I'm sure you've been asked a lot recently as you move on from First Post to build your own venture. We are of course curious to know what prompted that decision and what can we look forward to next from you.
What prompted that decision? I've just spoken about influence. I want to use mine. And build something. What I'm going to do, I'm going to start a media company. There are big, good media players in this country. But I think there is room for the kind of journalism that I want to do, and I want to do more of. That is not to say that I couldn't in my past 2 stints. I've worked with fabulous teams and been very lucky and very grateful to have been able to build brands that resonated with a global audience. I think that gave me the confidence that I can do it, and I want to do it, and I seek your support. Thank you very much.
We're all thinking is, how do we sign up for this? Well, congratulations, ma'am. We are very excited. So moving on to something lighter. You make geopolitics sound gripping, but what is your guilty pleasure content when you switch off from global crisis?
What I watch?
Yes.
I watch Ghumar dance. I never thought I'd say it on stage. I'm from Rajasthan, and I have 2 left feet, but I have a family full of fabulous dancers, so I think that has stayed in my mind somewhere. So when I have some time, like not every day, but once in a while when I'm sitting with my kids, I really like that music. It is slow, it is graceful, and I watch some of those videos.
What is one on-air moment that made you want to break out in laughter? You had to only laugh internally and you had to stay perfectly serious.
I have so many of those. So I started with a breakfast show. Not started, but early in my career I did the breakfast show for a long time, and I had some really fun co-anchors, and it used to be a 2-hour long show. So how serious can you be in the morning, right? And I had a co-anchor who was exceptionally funny, and we were tracking a story with reporters of a combing operation in Jharkhand. Some Naxal operation is going on, and he kept saying that this is a thick jungle and so on. And then I suddenly see that my co-anchor is sketching, and he's drawn trees and a huge comb on top of that. And I couldn't keep a straight face, and I had to ask a question, and I think it took everything I had to make sure that I don't break into a giggle. But I've had many such moments, because if you're always serious, as we are expected to be on air, then you can't have a life. You have to laugh at yourself and others.
True. Thank you for sharing that with us. We'll move on to a bit of a rapid fire. What is your favorite go-to snack?
I'm I'm not a big snack person, but I like having a bunch of grapes around. I keep snacking on them.
Very boring answer. Even though I'm a doctor, I don't approve of this. Alright, favorite piece of garment?
Sari.
One book you think every woman, if not person, should read?
So one book that everyone should read, I've said in the past, I think the Mahabharata has a very complicated plot. It has answers to a lot of questions. You know, it's the kind of book that, there are books that end when the last page is over, and then there are books that stay with you with a very distinct, for want of a better word, aftertaste. And they offer you answers to questions long after you've turned the last leaf. So I think the Mahabharata is one such book, but depending on what your genre is, I'm very good at recommending books, so shoot.
I think we'll take Mahabharata for answer. If I go into genres, then I think we'll not stop because we have a lot of bookaholics over here. And one woman who has deeply influenced you.
So I grew up with two very strong women, my mother and my grandmother. My grandmother lost her husband when she was 18 and she was left with a young son. And she raised him and she gave him an education, and she was such a strong woman. She was respected in the community. She built a life for herself and for her child, and she was a towering figure in my life until she passed. And my mother, who again taught us that education is your ticket to whatever you want to do. And she herself was studying till I was in high school. She was a teacher. She retired recently. But I think these are two women. I know that when you think of heroes in capes and think of people who are very famous. But I think these are stories around us. I'm sure everyone feels that for their parent. That with that silent grit and determination and armed with just their value system, they could truly move mountains. I'm very inspired by their work.
And for a lot of us here, you are a deep influence, especially after today. Coming to the last three questions, ma'am, what is one word that would capture the spirit of a woman leader?
I would say empathy. And it's not a weakness before anyone tells you. I think it's very powerful, especially now I know it's rapid fire, but I have to explain. When you work with the Gen Z that looks at values, that looks at what's in it for them, that it's a generation that you have to convince. They're not like us when we started, when our boss said, you have to do this, you couldn't ask a question, you did it. But today people ask questions, they debate, they discuss. I think when you show empathy, you build a team that truly stands with you beyond the workplace. So I think it's a superpower that women have and should not be shy of using.
One word that every woman should carry with her. One word.
No.
One word that every woman should drop from her dictionary, and I'm not kidding, it is on my phone, but you already answered that and said interrupt. Is there any other word that you think we should just drop from our dictionary?
Sorry? Sorry? Yeah, maybe.
Sorry. And to wrap it up, one word to describe the women of Flow Chennai.
Fabulous.
Thank you so much, man. You have been fabulous.
I just can't resist asking this. What is your take on the current geopolitical happening. I'm not mentioning countries here, I said generally because she's going to address the whole spectrum. The current one?
Let me name. I think you talk about Iran and what has happened there. Iran?
Noted Trump's movement.
Yes. So I think I would say that the Iranian regime was deeply flawed. What they did with the women, what they did with the people, how they ran a country for so many decades just to serve a bunch of theocrats was deeply problematic. Having said that, Iran was a legitimate member of the United Nations. It was another country. Today, it's a problematic regime in Iran that most of us agree with. But if you see the pictures from Iran that are coming out today, there are thousands of mourners who are out there. You cannot disrespect an international system, a rules-based system. You have the United Nations for that. In your country, you build a board of peace and then you waged war. So you may have issues with the regime, but who gave you the mandate to decapitate that regime? Today it is Iran, tomorrow it could be any other country. So anyone who's celebrating it, please celebrate cautiously, because this is not the way the world runs. Then it's tomorrow Russia will say, what is wrong if we don't like the regime of Ukraine? Tomorrow China will say that we want to change what's happening in Taiwan because we don't agree with it. If might makes right, then we will have a world which is very unstable. And as a country that talks about rules and that lectures everyone else on following rules, this is the biggest rule breaker in the world.
It is not happening for the first time. We were quiet about Ukraine. We are quiet about what's happening now. So where are we heading? Why is the big boss always right?
It's easy to stand here and talk about your personal opinion. I think when you lead a country, the country's interests come first, not personal opinion. And I think any leader who leads a country will put those interests first. Is Russia right in invading Ukraine? No. But did cheap Russian oil stabilize our economy in a post-pandemic world? Yes. So what would you do as a leader? You would do what is good for your people.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Audience will be wonderful. We now have Dr. Amulya Rao, our Senior Vice Chair, delivering the vote of thanks. Amulya is a bridge expert, dance aficionado, and a doctor as well.
So for those who want to hear the rest of Palki's answer, they can watch her tonight at 9 p.m. Ralph Waldo Emerson asked the question, who shall set the limit to the influence of a human being? Today I think we got the answer, and the answer is nobody. Our sincere gratitude to our chief guest, Ms. Palki Sharma, for elevating this evening with her presence and perspective. Your powerful words, from empowerment to influence, perfectly captured the shift that we must embody. It's not enough to be included. We must shape decisions, outcomes, and the narrative. To our awardees, you are not just achievers in your respective fields. You are influencers of ecosystems, industries, and future generations. You are changing systems every day through your sustained efforts, and your work creates ripple effects far beyond titles and trophies. My personal takeaways for some of the action points were sponsor a woman, make the ask, challenge biased assumptions, audit your apologies, and definitely credit other women. I also take this opportunity to express my gratitude to our past presidents, past chairs, and GB members for their continued guidance and support, and to our efficient admin Pavitra and all the volunteers. I would be remiss if I failed to thank Naina Shah and Chitra Gopinath, who year after year are the backbone of this entire award ceremony, steering every detail from concept to execution with precision and grace. And this year's core committee of Sandhya Rajan and Apurva Hari. A big thank you to our event sponsors OPG Power and Blue Theory, Platinum sponsors Access Healthcare, Silver sponsors Signature Jewelers, Rajlakshmi Health City, Bronze sponsors Spahi, RBAC, Ionex Comarin, Pocket Jamal, and gifting partners Sadev, Mehta and Galanch. Thank you all for being a part of this powerful celebration, and don't forget, pursue those action points.
My name is Dr. Vasudha Prakash, and it's been a wonderful evening today, so inspiring. And we get awards and awards, but when an award ceremony is so respectful and organized so beautifully, we feel very worthy receiving that award. So today I saw how you should organize an event, and with clockwork precision, and it was enjoyable, it was heartwarming, and everything that a ceremony should be. And also the way they've chosen the awardees, that has also been very inspiring, because these are people who can bring about a lot of human changes in this fast moving world. So I feel honored and I feel blessed. Thank you, Ficci Flow. I've always admired Ficci Flow for the community of women, of empowered influencers that this community has built. So it's been a great evening, and it's been great being a part of Ficci Flow. Thank you.
I'm Dr. Satya Jagannathan. I was a pediatrician. I worked as a professor of pediatrics at Chengalpattu Medical College. I had been working for more than 27 years in the field of neonatology. And I'm happy that Ficci had awarded me, and they have encouraged all the work that has been done in low resource settings like a government medical college. And we as a team, we worked hard, and from the scratch we built up the neonatal unit. Initially we made our own infant warmers, phototherapy units, and then gradually the unit was developed with the help of nurses and doctors. And we made many innovative care in newborn care. And we have also made 1,000 days of life park in the Chengalpattu Medical College, where the children, any mother who becomes pregnant, she will walk through the park and she will know what she should do to the child on a particular life of that child. And currently I work as a principal in Gandhigram Health and Family Welfare Training Center, where I take care of a big training unit catering to 6 health unit districts, and we take care of the vulnerable newborn, especially preterm and low birth weight babies. And currently we promote kangaroo mother care, where the baby will be placed on the mother's chest and it will be cared for till the child grows up to 2.5 kg. I thank Ficci organization for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
I'm Chitra Shah, founder director of Satya Special School, Pondicherry. I think receiving this award among all these awardees has been extremely inspiring, encouraging, and also it's like bringing the visibility that our work, which is happening in one corner of India, in Pondicherry, for an invisible population. I think this award will give us the visibility that it needs, and I'm very, very impressed by right from, I think, the selection process, the way it was done very professionally, how they approached us. Today, the way this event was organized flawlessly, and taking home from the chief guest what she said about women, how we need to kind of break the glass ceiling, come out and be an influencer. I think thank you Ficci for giving us this award and making our voices heard. I'm really, really grateful and completely inspired by today's event. Thank you.
In these last 40 years, Mukti has done nearly 5 lakh people all around the world, and it is nice to see those children today being a doctor, Paralympic champion, and it's really very satisfying because you are not helping one person, you are helping the whole family and whole country. So that is, and we try to say, treat them like a normal. They are not handicapped by any way. But of course, we are mentally handicapped by thinking that they are handicapped. They need a chance, and everyone should give them a chance to get a job, to work with them, to make their life normal.
My name is Guneet Singla, and I feel absolutely overwhelmed and overjoyed to receive the Entrepreneur of the Year award. It's very special because it's not just an award, it's a responsibility. For the last 29 years, I've been running my business along with my husband and my team. But today, I'm going back not only empowered, but also more influenced. Influenced to make a difference in many lives, many more lives of women, of men, and more importantly, creating solutions which the world needs in the food of F&B and hospitality. Partying is my business, and partying is not simple. It's a lot of planning, lot of perfection, and lot of putting your heart and soul into bringing out what we put on the table. Thank you for the acknowledgement and appreciation. I go back more empowered, more dedicated in making lives of all around me and collaborating with fellow awardees and seeing how the lives that they are touching can be put to use and can create employment in our F&B industry. Thank you.
It's truly inspiring to be here in this fabulous award-winning function for two reasons. One is the stalwart, the trendsetter, Palki Sharma is there as the chief guest, and we could get the award from her. And the second one is the inspiring entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs of Ficci Flow, and the excellent arrangements done by the entire team. It was beautifully done, and it is also giving us a responsibility and the learning taking forward, especially from Palki Sharma with 10 to-do lists and all the entrepreneurs we could come across and meet today. Thanks a lot, Ficci Flow, for this wonderful and fabulous opportunity. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, Ficci Flow Chennai, for making this evening so special. I'm so glad that we have a platform where we are getting recognized for the efforts that we are being putting up, throughout the entire entrepreneurial journey. And I just want to say that I feel so overwhelmed, and the entire evening feels really surreal. So thank you so much for that. I just want people to understand what space, what magic that their spaces around them can bring to them. Thank you so much.
Hello everyone, I'm Niyanti Mehta, chairperson of Ficci Flow Chennai, and I'm the 32nd chairperson. And this awards, Women Achievers Awards, is something that we have been doing for the last few years. And I'm so proud to be part of this. We had about 98 applications. These applications are very organic, and we filtered it down, and finally our jurors, Rajiv Mechari, Deepa Satyaram, and Mrs. Usha Krishna, brought down to 5 winners. And since we had a fabulous set of people, we had 2 Lifetime Achievement Awards, Dr. Satya Jagannathan and Mrs. Meena Dada. So it's been a thrill and a delight and to be having this. And we thought of Palki Sharma because she is one lady who has got the voice of the nation today. And we are so happy to have her here with us, and it was a fabulous event. Thank you.